Now, let me make this clear. I do not glorify any hardships that women are set to face in the future. I simply report upon them, predict them, and discuss them. But I know that something had to change. The relationship between men, women, and society could not continue the way it had been, with women being the primary consumers and men being the primary producers and providers for both women and society through taxation and protection. Something had to change. Women could no longer go on forever being powerful victims while men were seen as pathetic and incompetent oppressors. 7% of men in the United States have stopped working entirely, spending 6 to 7 hours a day playing video games and relaxing, with millions more only working as much as they need to survive. The media is reporting that men have stopped looking for dates and are instead choosing to stay home and choosing to pursue hobbies. All of this is happening. And of course, no one attempts to make women take accountability for any of this. Women will now be forced to live with the consequences of their actions. After hashtag MeToo destroyed the lives of so many men and further fractured the relationship between men and women will watch as men rush overseas to start new lives and find foreign brides and take significant amounts of money out of the American economy that is needed to pay for the social welfare programs that women love and enjoy so much. Women will find themselves receiving no aid from the government, or rather, for those who can get Social Security disability, they'll find themselves receiving checks for only $800 to $1,000 a month that can't cover the cost of anything. It cannot cover the cost of rent. It cannot cover the cost of utilities. It cannot cover the cost of food. You cannot survive on that per month unless you're living in public housing. And to get a spot in a public housing facility will take many years. There's only a few thousand spots available, and there will be tens of millions of women looking for housing that will not be able to find housing. The truth we have to face is right in front of us. It's as obvious as day. Many women will end up in tent cities run by the FEMA department, where you can enter, but you can't leave. Hunger, disease, and violence will be rampant in these places. And Tyrone will be a common factor. Good men will be gone, and bad men will remain. When Tyrone is hungry, he will eat while everyone else starves. When he is thirsty, he will drink while everyone struggles, while everyone else struggles with thirst. And when he wants a lady, he will have a lady. Because Tyrone will run things in Tent City. Because Tyrone will be king of Tent City. The cost of male labor will skyrocket as men increasingly drop out of the American workforce. Need your toilet unclogged? That'll be $400. Need your roof fixed? That'll be $30,000. Need the streets cleaned? That'll be $150,000 for 3 months of work charged to the city. And when that work is done, these men, yes, these men will head back overseas to spend the rest of the year with their Filipino wives and children, Latino wives and children, Eastern European wives and children, African wives and children, leaving Western society behind and Western women behind to provide for themselves, to figure things out for themselves. Because they won't be there to push around anymore, to belittle anymore, to take advantage of anymore. They will no longer be present because they will have long walked away from Western society and Western women as they have had enough. Women will not be able to find a man to marry because men have walked away and no longer trust Western women. And they're still living happier lives overseas. In some cases, however, these men are completely avoiding any and all relationships with women and just going straight out MGTOW. And these men that choose to go MGTOW, they have decided for life to swear off relationships and to limit interactions with women because they no longer trust that women will do right by them. And can you truly blame these men? After all that has happened, can you truly blame these men? And women are now older and they have no family, they have no close bonds, and in many cases they have no children. Job prospects begin to diminish as these women get older, and employers want younger women to fill these roles. The finances of women begin to become depleted. Women are no longer able to maintain their lifestyles as their jobs cannot finance it. And with fewer men willing to help them as they get older, then they're losing access to those resources. Think about this carefully. When it comes to mental health, 25% of American women are on mental health medication, and that number will only grow. 45% of all women will be childless and single come 2030. And that's not counting the millions of other women who will be older, the millions of Gen Zers who will now be approaching 50 or 50 years old, Gen Yers who will now be 50 years old or approaching 50 years old, Gen Xers who will now be 60. Gen Zers who will be pushing 40. It does not take into consideration any of this. We are witnessing the fall of Western society and Western women in Western society. Western society itself won't collapse. It will simply restructure, placing most women socially and economically at the very bottom of society and men at the very top, as men walk away from both Western society and Western women and take their money with them. This is the future that is coming, and it will be here very, very soon.